Like I always say, this is why I like dogs better than people, because dogs are just awesome and people are just, they can be awful. Hey guys, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another Vegan Talks video. So the other day on Instagram, I asked you guys to tell me what annoys you about being vegan and what you hate about being vegan. And I don't think I've ever received so many responses. So there were a lot, okay? So I thought it'd be a good idea to sit down and film a video. Originally, I was just gonna respond on Instagram stories, which I did, but there were so many. So I was like, you know what? I wanna film a video reacting to these. So hopefully you guys find this interesting, entertaining, fun. By the way, if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, why not? Okay, go follow me. Anyways, let's get started. So a few months ago, I actually did a video where I talked about what I find annoying about being vegan, the things that I hate about being vegan, and I'll link that video down below. I think it was a fun video and it sparked a lot of discussion in the comments, which I always love. So I thought, you know, it'd be only fair for me to ask you guys what you find annoying and see if I agree, if I disagree, you know. Okay, but seriously, look at this. It's like a lot. Holy moly, it is endless. Oh my god, you guys, seriously, it's gonna be a long video. So let's get started. All right, are you guys ready for this? There is a lot. Okay, so the first one, the jokes my Omni family make every time I go to a family dinner. Oh, yes, this is one of the most annoying things about going vegan is everyone around you makes a big deal out of it. The stereotype is that vegans can't seem to shut up about being vegan, but the reality is that when you're vegan, everyone around you cannot shut the f up, okay? That is the reality of the situation. So it is super annoying dealing with it. You deal with it especially a lot, I think, in the very beginning when people around you are not used to you being vegan. After a while, it does get a little bit better, at least from my experience. I was always met with a lot more resistance in the beginning, but once you've done it for so many years, you know, people get bored of it, okay? Jokes get old, and eventually most people just shut up, okay? Eventually they'll like move on, okay? People wanting me to justify their non-vegan actions, like if you know it's wrong, that's on you. Yes, oh my god. One of the things that annoy me is when people are like, oh, I feel really bad eating the steak in front of you. And I'm like, that's okay. Don't feel bad for me. I'm not affected by it, okay? And you shouldn't feel bad because I'm sitting there. You should just, maybe you're feeling bad because you actually feel bad for the animal. Who knows? But either way, like, don't look at me for some sort of, you know, reassurance that what you're doing is okay, okay? If you're gonna do it, just do it. Don't, like, tell me that you feel bad about it. Why are you doing it then? Jeez! Anyways, I'm already yelling. Having to plan a lot living in a non-vegan world. Yes, so I think I mentioned this in my video where I talk about my annoyances, but usually the annoyances have nothing to do with, you know, actually, you know, following a vegan diet or a lifestyle, but it's mainly just dealing with the fact that we live in such a non-vegan world. That comes with a lot of unfortunate, you know, disadvantages just because you have to go kind of against that status quo. So just the fact that, you know, for example, you don't have as many convenient options as other people might. You might have a harder time finding a place to eat when you're eating out. You might have to check the ingredients list more than everybody else. So it obviously comes with a lot of different things that you have to deal with as part of living a, I guess, alternative lifestyle. And I applaud you if you are one of the people dealing with these things because it's not easy and you should be proud of yourself that you are putting yourself in these, you know, slightly uncomfortable situations and putting aside your convenience for something that you know is bigger than you and is more important than you for an important cause. So you should be proud of yourself and understand that, yes, it is a little bit more uncomfortable, but, you know, the fact that you're doing it, like, it's a very noble cause. So pat yourself in the back. I will literally eat a bowl of lettuce, but when we go somewhere there is no vegan option, I'm the burden. Yeah, this is another kind of difficult part because when you're vegan, you kind of feel like you are, I guess, being a burden to other people, even though you're not really. And most vegans I know are very, very, you know, good at adapting to situations and just dealing with, you know, maybe a, you know, slightly not so good meal at a non-vegan restaurant, but just like most people are pretty flexible. Like most vegans that I know are very flexible with those things because they know that, it's hard to get the world to cater around your, vegan lifestyle, unfortunately. So, but then it sucks because then you still have to feel like a burden, even though you're the one kind of like bending over backwards to cater to society. But you always feel like you're somehow being a burden to other people when, society caters to them perfectly. So I don't know. That's definitely an unfortunate part of being vegan. I'm hoping that in the next 10, 20, 30 years, it'll become easier and easier and easier, and hopefully it'll become the norm to be vegan, at least more so the norm than now. It's gotten a lot better. I have a lot of hope because even just in the last, 6.5 years that I was vegan, it's changed dramatically. Even just seeing the word vegan so many times, just randomly going into random coffee shops or restaurants and finding random vegan options, which was very hard to find before. So it's getting better, and hopefully we won't have to feel like a burden for much longer. What a burden we are to care about animals, How doctors are taught nothing on veganism and therefore think it's an unhealthy lifestyle. I'm hoping that this trend is changing a little bit. I do think that there is a slightly higher, percentage of people understanding that a plant-based diet is actually not necessarily unhealthy. And a lot of people are now kind of opening their eyes up to the idea that a completely plant-based diet can be completely healthy, depending on, what you do. And another thing to note is that doctors don't get much nutrition training, which is a little bit messed up because they're more focused on disease and, surgery. And I don't know what doctors do, but yes, they don't really get much nutrition training. So that's one thing to note is if your doctor is giving you nutrition advice, you have to take that with a grain of salt because even though they are, I have complete respect for doctors and they are professional in their field, unfortunately, the field of medicine and the field of nutrition are seen as separate. Doctors are not registered dietitians or nutritionists, nutrition scientists. They're nothing like that. So take their nutrition advice with a grain of salt. Did it get super dark in here or is it just me? Anyway, we'll deal with it. We'll be fine. When my friends tell me all the reasons they should be vegan but do nothing about it. Here's the thing though, I would actually be relatively okay with them saying these things because at least they can recognize the kind of reasons to go vegan. I think that's the first step because there's so much denial when it comes to veganism. There's a lot of people that will go as far as being anti-vegan or completely make fun of vegans and have absolutely no understanding of, where vegans are coming from. But then if somebody at least recognizes that they, should go vegan or it would be better if they did go vegan or, ethically they agree with the vegan lifestyle and the vegan philosophy, that is the first step in my opinion, because that's what I initially did is I didn't go vegan for a long time, but I, was pescatarian for many years. But the whole time I thought, I need to go vegan at some point. I thought, okay, the vegans, they have it right, okay? They know what they're doing. I agree with their philosophy. I just couldn't put my, actions and my morals together. Does that make sense? I couldn't follow through with my actions, but eventually I did. So give them some time, give them some more, room to think about it themselves, marinate in the ideas. But if they're already saying, hey, I should go vegan, I probably should go vegan, you never know, okay? You never know. All right, next, people telling me I can't have something when I'm choosing not to eat it. This is such a good point. This is such a good point. I feel like I've said this before, but this is one thing that even I do as well, just because of, just out of habit. I just say without realizing, but I'll say things like, oh yeah, I can't eat that. Or like, oh, is there something I can eat? But instead of saying that, I'm really trying to practice really changing up the wording that I use to I won't, or that's not something I eat. Just changing up slightly the wording can make a big difference in terms of taking back your power and the fact that this is your choice, okay? At the end of the day, being vegan is not an allergy, it is not a disease, it is not a disorder, it is your lifestyle choice based on an ethical philosophy, okay? It is your choice to stop eating animal products, it is your choice to abstain from eating animal products. Take back that power, try not to use those terms yourself. I know, again, sometimes I slip, it happens, but try to keep reminding yourself that it is not a disease, it is not an allergy, this is your choice. You can eat this, but you choose not to because of your ethical beliefs. So yeah, it does annoy me sometimes when people are like, oh, like, you can't eat that, Rose, you can't eat that. Sometimes I do say it politely. I just say, look, I can eat it, I just won't eat it. There is a difference. So you can explain it to them without, being super rude about it. So try to alter your own words as well. Be careful with your own words and how you use those words. Of course, you don't need to worry so much about it, but try to use words that are more empowering and take back that power that you have. Okay? Okay. All right, so here's another one. I get really annoyed when they say it's a trend. Yes, Bob, trying to make the world a better place is a trend. And even if it was a trend, what a cool freaking trend. Let's save the planet. Agreed, completely. It is. The thing is, people need to realize that this is not some sort of fad diet. It is not some sort of trendy thing that's cool to do. This is a full-on movement, guys. It is a movement based on an ethical philosophy. Remember that. It's not a trend. It is not a fad. It is a movement based on justice. Based on justice. We are trying to bring justice into this world to some degree, and at least try to minimize the amount of harm that we are doing to animals on such a massive scale. It is a lifestyle, it is a movement, it is an ethical philosophy. Attending events that aren't super vegan friendly and end up hungry the whole time. Oh, that's tough. That's definitely tough. Yeah, that's the thing. It's, once again, it's like, you have to plan in advance because unfortunately the world is not vegan. So we have to kind of adapt to the world that isn't vegan, which is the unfortunate part. Events are difficult. I would usually maybe have a little snack beforehand or carry some snacks with you. That's one thing that really helps, is just having, some, I don't know, protein bars or nuts or trail mix or whatever in your little purse, okay? If you're a guy, guys should really carry purses too. I feel like I don't know how you just have a wallet. Don't understand. But yeah, you just have to be prepared, okay? Because I hate being hungry. I don't know if you guys know this about me, okay? But I do not enjoy being hungry. So eat something beforehand, try to find out if there will be vegan options, try to find out what the vegan options are, because it could be like a side salad with eggplant on top, and I'm like, no. Next one, how isolating it can sometimes feel, or that people make me feel like I'm the odd one out. Yes, once again, it is so much to do with your social life and, us interacting with other people. That's what makes veganism really difficult, is that most people don't want to feel like the odd one out. They don't want to feel like the different person. They don't want to feel like they're the only one that understands what they're going through. So that's what really makes veganism really difficult, which is why I think it's important to try to find a support network in one way or another. You might not find it in your close friend and family circle, but there are, groups online, there are, local vegan and vegetarian clubs. If you're a university, there might be a club in your university. So yeah, I think it's really important to try to find some sort of a support network of people that are like-minded, that understand where you're coming from, so that you can at least feel a little sense of normalcy, and you can feel like you're not the only one. Remember that you're not alone, and remember that there are lots of other people going through what you're going through, so you're not the only one. I got a couple of comments, and the answer is just one word: people. What they find annoying about being vegan is people. Which, again, kind of sums up the whole thing, okay? Like I always say, this is why I like dogs better than people, because dogs are just awesome, and people are just, they can be awful, okay? Yes, so dogs are the best. Being told you're not vegan enough by other vegans, or that you are too extreme by non-vegans. Oh my god, see, that's difficult, because I kind of feel the same way, because I'm always feeling like I'm in the middle of things. I feel like I'm not one or the other, and I'm always kind of stuck in the middle of something. So I agree with a lot of things that, a lot of vegans say, even the ones that other people might find extreme. But at the same time, I also, try to be a regular functioning member of society. So it's hard to find that kind of balance. And then either way, both groups will think something of you, right? So yeah, non-vegans will think oh, you're vegan, that's too much. And then the vegans are oh, well, maybe you shouldn't eat that burger that was cooked on the same grill as the meat burger. So you kind of have to try to just be your own person and realize that we're all different, we're all individuals, and that we're not going to all agree on everything. Even though you might be vegan, you might not agree on a lot of things. And even though someone might not be vegan, you might find a lot of common ground. So I think it's important to interact with different types of people and realize that we're all different, we're all individuals. So the next one is that we are expected to be the epiphany of health and fitness when it is a social movement. Completely agree. I feel like there is this misconception that veganism is about health. It's about your fitness level. It's about, having a really clean diet. And whilst a lot of people that follow a plant-based diet do focus a lot on health, it really isn't about that. It is a movement. Like I said, it is a social justice movement. It is about oppression, it's about animal rights, and it really has nothing to do with health. So you can be a healthy vegan, you can be an unhealthy vegan. At the end of the day, it is not a diet. It is more than that. Where do you get your protein? Or plants feel pain too. Annoy me so much. It's shocking that people still make these arguments. Like, I still hear these arguments, like, where do you get your protein? And, oh, well, don't you know that plants also feel pain? How are we still making these arguments? It is 2020, people. Like, we need to stop with these arguments. No, plants don't feel pain. And even if they did, God, do I have to explain this again? Even if they did, vegans are killing less plants because animals have to eat plants to become our food. Okay? So even if you believe that plants feel pain, unless you believe in killing yourself because you don't want to harm anything, then you should believe in the concept of veganism, because that still does the least harm, because you are not feeding animals plants just so you can eat the animal. It is much more efficient to just eat the plants, okay? And that argument is just so grotesque. It's like, okay, plants feel pain, so what? Are we just supposed to do whatever we want? Does that justify killing anything then? Because certain things might feel pain, like plants might feel pain, and it's inevitable to avoid causing any pain. So therefore, what? You should just cause whatever amount of pain that you want? Is that the argument? What is your argument? Anyways. When something has one tiny ingredient that makes it not vegan, oh my God, it's so annoying. It's always like that too. There's that one little thing and you're just like, why? Why is that necessary? And it's usually a milk ingredient. It's like milk powder. Why is there milk powder? Why? What is the purpose of this milk powder? And the other day I bought this cheese that I thought was vegan, okay? Because it's called soya cheese. It's soya cheese. And it had milk in it, okay? I actually bought it because, I just thought it was vegan. Stupid mistake, but again, it was called soya cheese. How deceptive is that? I'm sorry. When somebody buys soya cheese, it usually means they want to avoid dairy, right? Am I crazy? So I think it's a bit deceptive to call it soya cheese, but then add milk in it. Anyways, this is the brand if you guys want to avoid it. Yeah, a few people actually pointed it out after I posted it on Instagram. So thank you for those people that pointed it out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have even guessed because I just immediately assumed it was vegan. So that really annoys me. If you're a straight man, people assume you're gay. I've had this assumed more than once. Oh my God. See, that's another thing about veganism being perceived as some sort of feminine thing when it shouldn't be perceived that way. We really need to stop this idea that certain things are not masculine, and if a man cares about social issues, somehow it makes him not masculine. What? This concept of veganism being a feminine thing is just very strange to me. And for me, it shows a lack of masculinity when a man feels the need to do all of these things to prove that he is masculine, like eating a piece of meat. And somehow that makes him more of a man? Why exactly? There's also a term in Japan, it's called herbivore men or something. The term is used to describe men that are, not so masculine essentially, and that are quite shy and don't, I guess, have those traditional masculine traits. And so there is definitely a cultural issue where we assume that men have to be a certain way, otherwise we just assume that they just eat plants. See, that's already the fact that it's called herbivore men and soy boy, these terms are just, I don't know. I just feel if you are secure in your masculinity, then you wouldn't feel the need to go out of your way to do all of these things that have nothing to do with you being a man or a masculine man. Next, dating non-vegans. Like I said, we could use more straight men, okay, in the vegan movement. Just putting that out there. When you're looking for a significant other, you want to find someone that kind of aligns with your morals, your values. And if you're vegan, one of your values is, animal rights or, social issues, social responsibility, these things. And if somebody doesn't match that, it is hard. It's really tough. And if they don't understand it, it's really, really tough. So I get you, okay? I understand. I understand all too well, okay? Dating as a vegan is very hard, especially as a straight woman, okay? Especially as a straight woman, because there's not that many straight men that are vegan, unfortunately. It sucks. People telling me why they can't be vegan or making excuses when I didn't ask them. That is annoying. Yes. Why do people do this? It's like they feel the need to justify, They feel the need to justify to you without you even asking them. This is because they feel like they need to automatically go on the defense, because just your existence, like you existing as a vegan, is already a bit of a threat to what they believe is their correct worldview. So it is very uncomfortable to see, somebody else being vegan because they think, oh, all of a sudden they have to worry about that. They're like, oh, maybe I should be vegan? Immediately they go on the defense when you didn't even ask them. But because just you existing is a threat to their, worldview, they have to go on the defense and explain why they can't be vegan. Like I've had this happen multiple times when I meet somebody and maybe we're at a restaurant and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm vegan, blah, blah, blah. Simply because I'm ordering food, right? Like simply because I'm like, okay, I need to order food and I need to make sure it's vegan. Okay, it has nothing to do with me just having to say that I'm vegan for no reason, okay? But yeah, simply because I need to order, I say I'm vegan, and then immediately it's like, oh, yeah, I could never be vegan because like I just, I have like low iron or, they just like come up with some kind of random excuse, and I'm like, I never asked you. I never asked you to go vegan. I just said I'm vegan. When there is a birthday dinner and they invite me to a seafood restaurant, ugh, I know, this is the worst. The thing is, once again, it's like we have to cater to this unvegan world. And also you don't want to feel like a burden and you don't want to be like, well, can we just go to this like place with the vegan options? So you don't want to do that, but also like, can you at least just like consider the fact that I'm vegan? Like, can you not invite me to the steakhouse? Just anywhere but the steakhouse or the seafood restaurant, like please. So I'm gonna do one last one. So this one is being a vegan mama and everyone's unsolicited input on my son's diet. Oh my God, seriously, this is the thing, okay? People don't say anything unless you are vegan. It's like you could feed your child the most outrageous, junk foody, unhealthy diet, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable saying anything. But if you, God forbid, if you feed your child a vegan diet, they immediately assume that your child is going to be sick and that you are being abusive, okay? And that this is like some sort of child abuse. It's not, okay? It's not inherently child abuse. Of course, if you're feeding your child very unhealthy food, or if you're following some kind of really crazy, restrictive vegan diet, then yes, okay? Maybe people should be concerned. But just inherently you feeding your child vegan should not immediately result in people saying all kinds of things to you, especially considering that, again, we let people feed their child whatever they want, as long as it's not a vegan diet, God forbid. You can feed your child McDonald's every single day. Most people don't even say anything to them. But if you're vegan, oh my God, you're basically killing your child. Ugh. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna stop right here because it is getting dark, as you can see here, and I've been sitting here for a while. So before I end this video, I just wanna end on a positive note and give you guys some words of encouragement. So I know it is difficult to be vegan. There are obviously very difficult things about following a lifestyle that is different from everybody else. There's a lot of social issues, there's a lot of social pressure, a lot of stigma, a lot of teasing, a lot of judgment, and you feel isolated sometimes. It's obviously less convenient than not being vegan. vegan, there's definitely a lot of sacrifices that we have to make to go vegan. So that is why I believe that you should be very proud of yourselves if you are vegan despite all of these other things. You are vegan despite the fact that it is obviously not an easy thing to do. It is not easy to go against the status quo. It is not easy to be on the right side of history. It's always easier to go with what everyone else is doing and go with the flow. But the fact that you are not doing that because you know it's the right thing to do, you should be very proud of yourselves. And honestly, I think that is a beautiful thing. You care about something outside of yourself. And that's something that normally would be deemed as very courageous and noble and something you should be very proud of yourself for. And you should absolutely be proud of yourself for this, even though the world doesn't see it quite yet. So someone said it. I thought it was Darwin. I don't know why I thought this was Darwin, but apparently it's not. There's a quote. It is that the only thing constant is change. So no matter what, the world is going to change. No matter how much resistance, the world will change. That's the only thing that's constant, is change. There's always going to be change. And the fact that you're vegan, that probably means you're quite adaptable to change, which is a very great trait to have. And also you're on, again, what I believe is the right side of history. So I want you guys to take something positive out of this and realize that you should absolutely be very proud of yourselves and understand that this isn't easy for everyone. And that's what makes you extra special. So I know everyone's gonna try to tear you down, but not me, guys, not me. I know that what you're doing is noble and courageous and brave, and it's not always easy. And hopefully you came out of this video with a little bit more positivity at the very end here, even though we complained the whole time, but still, okay. So yeah, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys want to watch my other Vegan Talks videos where I discuss different vegan topics, I will link the playlist down below. Yeah, and guys, leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!